So I'm going to show you a little bit about what I call harness engineering. And this is strongly related to testing. But it thinks about testing in, I think, a little bit of a different way than most people do, even in seasoned testing environments. So this is my programming language. It's something that I've made, started in September. And it's already very strong on performance and memory safety and all that stuff. And full disclosure, it's implemented with the help of AI, and that is a trend that we all see coming. But to be able to implement anything with AI, you need to look at the harness as a almost like the main part of the product. It's like the core product, and what people are using is almost downstream from your harness. It's like an artifact that your core product is producing. That is my sort of reframe for this, because it feels like that's the direction we're going. So Koru, it is a systems level programming language, and I'm not going to talk too much about this language itself. The reason why I'm bringing it up is basically we need to have something that is more complex than what most people work on on a daily basis. So the complexity of Koru is, I know that it's bad to like brag about lines of code, but I'm going to use it as some kind of loose metric anyway, because it sort of makes sense to give you like a mental idea of the ballpark of the complexity of it. Right now it is around 155, I think maybe 160,000 lines of code. And this is written by AI, almost 99.5% is written by AI. So it is at the point where it performs at a C level. It outperforms C when you're talking naive code in a bunch of places. So this is like the baseline, and this is not the only project that I'm working on, but this would be a good baseline to show what a harness means the way that I would want to explain it. So this is me talking to Claude a little bit. The testing of this is captured in a regression test suite. It runs in parallel right now, and it takes, to do the full suite, it takes around 10 minutes, which isn't that bad considering that it has it has over 600 tests, which arguably isn't that much for a programming language, but it is, it is something. And also considering that you need to do for every program that you're testing, you actually need to do compilation in 3 steps. Looking at that from that perspective isn't that bad. And like the things that we have here isn't that important, but it is something that I would maybe wanna talk about a little bit too. But the core of this is that we're treating not the tests and the harness as only as the core product. What we're doing is we're also looking at the output from the test and the tests themselves as part of a shippable artifact. And let me show you what I mean by that. Going back to the website, here we have a Learn tab. And the fun thing about this, it's structured as a learning resource for beginners. So if you click on this thing, you will get a hello world. But the fun thing about this is that this is you're actually looking at the test suite. So a way to navigate this would be you go in here, you look at your hello world. This is arguably a little bit more complex than most languages use for their hello worlds. and then you look at the expected output and the actual output. So what we're doing from every test run, we're capturing what the test outputs, what some of the parameters are, and like what is the result of the run. On the right side here, you can see that me as a user of the system and also as an admin of the system, I can rate the contents of this. So I can basically tell the website how strong is this test. And here I have a comment. It's like, it actually lies a little bit in the comment. And that is like stored as part of the website. This is interesting in a couple of ways, because you can use this again as a learning resource for the language. You can see what we're currently struggling with. All right, that we cannot currently do this. And you can see how we intermingle actual prose with the test run. So we can show multiple files on a per test basis, capture to the website. And we can also add the prose that that explains why the test is running. We can capture design documents. We can do all that kind of stuff. So a lot of examples on, and this would be an example of, looking up user 42. We don't have an expected case here, so maybe this is a gap in our test suite, right? I could go in here and I can rate it like I would probably rate it a 1, and I would say, is this test even correct? This would report not only to our backend here, but this would also send a message to our Discord. So everybody that follows us on Discord would see like, oh, there's something happening in the development. They can go here and see, oh, there might be something wrong about this test, etc. Right? The point that I'm trying to get to is that this is not that useful if there isn't a full feedback loop in this. So can you tell me about pull in the website repo? So yes, what I'm trying to say is that this system it works as a way to comment on the test, and as you can see, we have a bunch of tests, and a lot of them are marked as to do. Some of them are failing just outright. This is the kind of stuff that I like to see. I like to see failing tests that capture an intention. If you mark them as to do, it's really easy to ignore it, right? So now Claude has looked at our pull feedback system. I'm just gonna ask him like, yeah, why don't you just pull it and tell me what you see? And let's look at maybe the lowest, just take a look at it. And what Claude is going to do is going to take the input that I gave on the website and that other people can also do on the website, and he is going to feed it back. And this is going to give Claude full context. Like, he's going to know exactly where in the code we have a problem. He's going to have my comment here as a context. So he would be able to use this as a direct driver on what we want to do next. And the cool thing about this also is that he is then able to close, like by having it marked as done, and he can do all this updating to the tasks that are in the website. And then you might be asking, like, why aren't you just using Jira? And I think the point that I'm trying to make here a little bit is that every time you have an option of tightening, like moving the data closer to the problem, you should do it. And the like the overhead for me to add these kinds of comments and for other users by just looking at the web page, I don't have to context switch. I don't have to do any of that, right? And I don't have to tell Claude, oh, this is our Jira like backlog. We don't have to go through all that song and dance to be able to do this. So this is sort of what I'm getting at when you have a situation where production is cheap. The ability and willingness to create in-house tooling in your harness and treat it as if it is a first-class citizen suddenly becomes viable. And this is often, it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing today. We haven't decided what the next sprint is going to be. It's like you can always improve your harness. And I'm going to show you a couple of more things that we have here. One thing that we like, I think it's called feedback here. You can go in here, you can see all the feedback, see if it makes sense, what you want to address. You can copy it out to the session directly if, let's say, we wanted to work on that. So that is now context for Claude that we can start working on. And we can also just look at it by rating. I think it's ratings. So the point of that would be to be able to feed back into Claude's own context. We would take highly rated content and we would condense that into some kind of data for the AI. And then we can make sure that this never makes it into the context for the AI. And if we need something to chip away at, we can just start here. We can do 4 or 5 of these and we can figure out why is it rated this low and how can we fix it. And then you'll see that a lot of these do actually have some kind of explanation why it's rated lowly, right? So hopefully this is kind of a different way of looking at the iteration loop, where testing goes from being something that stops bad code from reaching production to be something that actually fuels the idea of like what is the next step in our development. So yeah, I don't know, hopefully this makes sense.